Hello everyone. Welcome to watch the second episode of Happiness and the Traditional Chinese Culture. In this video, we'll discuss the second question raised the last time. What's the use of learning traditional Chinese culture? About this question, I also got many answers from you. Your answers include learning traditional Chinese culture can improve my Chinese level, can let me know more about China and the Chinese people, can have better personal development in the future, and can broaden the understandings to this world, and so on. I can infer that behind so many different answers, you think learning traditional Chinese culture is beneficial to you in spite of the varied forms of benefits. This is in accordance with the opinions of John Stuart Mill, who was an influential English philosopher of the 19th century. He maintained that happiness is the sole end of human action. Your different answers all indicate you are learning traditional Chinese culture for happiness. The importance of happiness was manifested in one of America's founding documents, the Declaration of Independence, which says, all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This sentence indicates the pursuit of happiness is of the same status as our lives and liberty. Another question appears from this statement. What is happiness? From your answers, we can see everybody also has his own opinions to this question. As we use the Mill's theory here, let's see what is his opinion about it. According to Mill's definition, happiness means pleasure and the absence of pain. I think the pain here refers to both physical and mental pain. This definition would possibly lead to conflicts and selfishness, as what pleasure and pain dictate can vary a lot from one person to the next. If we don't have a consensus on what is pleasure, everyone would think he is innocent of doing some harmful things, which is justified by the pursuit of happiness. Mill realized this problem and stated that instead of maximizing our individual happiness, we should pursue actions that produce the greatest amount of the overall happiness in the world. That is to say, individual pleasure means little when compared with the overall happiness in the world. In this way, individual happiness should be aligned with the happiness of the group. We can't harm others or do something evil in the name of seeking happiness. Mill further divided pleasure into two categories, lower form and higher form. What accounts as lower pleasure? Mill suggests lower pleasure refers to the physical ones, such as eating and sleeping. Higher pleasure caters to knowledge, conscience, dignity, and integrity, which are related to the mental pleasures. The way to distinguish higher pleasure and lower pleasure is to see which those who experienced both choose. He believed that people with a strong sense of their own dignity and well-developed rational faculties will choose higher pleasure over lower ones, because they offer a deeper, more human happiness than mere contentment. The reason why some people choose the lower form of happiness lies in that this is the only one they could get or experience. Mill held that our experiences of bodily pleasures are similar to those of animals. But only people who are sufficiently mentally cultivated can enjoy the higher forms of human pleasures. Based on Mill's theory, we can get a preliminary answer to the question in the beginning. Learning traditional Chinese culture can cultivate our ability to enjoy spiritual pleasure, thus enhancing our level of happiness. Is Mill's theory reasonable? If not, our preliminary answer is not reliable either. After around 100 years, his theory was supported by Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow used a pyramid to illustrate our actions are motivated by certain physiological and psychological needs that progress from basic to complex. From the pyramid, we can see that the lower levels of needs focuses more on our bodily satisfaction. As we progress up the pyramid, needs become increasingly psychological and spiritual. Later, in 1970, Maslow expanded the original five-stage model to include 3 additional needs at the top of the pyramid. The 3 additional needs, together with the original top needs, form the growth needs, which are more related to the needs of our human spiritual growth. The expansion of the original model indicates the complexity and the importance of human spiritual needs. The first level is cognitive needs, which center on knowledge and understanding, curiosity, exploration, need for meaning, and predictability. The pursuit of similar needs can be found in the Chinese classic. For example, the first sentence in the analect, 学而时习之，不亦说乎? To acquire knowledge and practice what you have learned from time to time. Is this not a pleasure? The English translation of the Chinese classics used here is adapted by a comprehensive consideration of the English versions of many translators, such as Robert Eno, Xu Yuanchong, Gu Hongming, Luo Zhiye, and some unknown translators. The second stage is aesthetic needs, which mean having the ability to appreciate the beauty within the world. More than 2,500 years ago, Confucius expressed such needs in the Analects. 子在其文少，3月不知肉味，曰：不图为乐之至于斯也。When Confucius was in the state of Qi, he heard music named Shao. For 3 months, he did not know the taste of meat. He said, I never imagined that the pleasure of music could reach this level. The third tier is self-actualization needs, which refer to the realization of a person's potential, self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth, and peak experiences. In my opinion, self-actualization here does not only refer to the realization of one's dream, because it is possible that some dreams won't be fulfilled no matter how hard we try. But we can still feel the happiness of self-actualization even if our dreams are not realized. Such happiness is linked to the peak experience, which stems from our nature other than from what happens around us. Yan Hui, one of Confucius' favorite students, must have experienced such happiness. In the Analects, it says, 一箪食，一瓢饮，在陋巷，人不堪其忧，回也不改其乐。Living in a shabby lane with a handful of rice to eat and a dipperful of water to drink, others could not bear such a wretched life, yet Hui was as happy as ever. Yan Hui could enjoy life and be happy in such plight. This tells us our high level of spiritual happiness is independent of the outside conditions. The top layer is transcendence needs, which address the value that transcend beyond the personal self. Beyond self-actualization, they present the human desire to connect with a higher reality, purpose, or the universe. Ancient Chinese sages also expressed similar spiritual pursuit. The first sentence in the Great Learning, 大学之道，在明明德，在亲民，在止于至善。What the Great Learning teaches is to illustrate and develop the illustrious virtue, to love and transcend people, and finally to reach the highest realm of virtue and thoughts. You see, even with the time span of thousands of years, both Eastern and Western people echo each other on the spiritual needs and are continuously seeking spiritual happiness through their own ways. Although Western culture and traditional Chinese culture were developed independently as different systems, their ultimate aims are the same, that is, pursuing the highest level of spiritual happiness. In fact, the journey of pursuing happiness has gone on as long as a human has lived on this planet. The ancient Greeks had considered happiness as the goal of life. According to Augustine, the pursuit of happiness is an intrinsic motive of human beings because we are imperfect. With so many supportive ideas, we can conclude that our preliminary answer is right. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have higher purposes of life than just surviving in society. If the aim of education is just to make you survive in the world, why did so many students with high social status and ability follow Confucius and learn from him? Some of them even lost their lives by following Confucian principles, like Zilu, who was mentioned in the last session. So, in my sessions, I want to work with you to improve the level of your happiness by finding ways to apply traditional Chinese culture into your lives. But before application, we should deepen our understanding of traditional Chinese culture through various activities, such as reading, discussion, and presentation. Of course, I'm a person with limited knowledge, so I welcome any advice and suggestions to improve the quality of the sessions. In the end, I have 4 suggestions for learning traditional Chinese culture. Read extensively, think independently, practice frequently, and love the world deeply. Thank you for watching.